Caillou sleeps over. Caillou was very excited. His friend Leo had invited Caillou to sleep over at his house. Caillou couldn't wait to go. This was the first time Caillou had ever stayed overnight at a friend's house. He ran to his room to get his backpack ready. Caillou didn't want to forget his dinosaurs, his favorite toy car, or his special cardboard sword. But his backpack was already overflowing and he couldn't take it all. His mummy pulled an overnight bag out of the closet and started packing Caillou's clothes, pajamas, and toothbrush. A sad-looking teddy bear lay on the bed. Caillou was excited about going to Leo's house. He'd forgotten all about Teddy. When they were ready to go, Mummy asked Caillou if they had forgotten to pack anything. Clothes, pajamas, toothbrush, teddy bear? My Teddy! Shouted Caillou. He ran to his room to get Teddy. They had to take out his favorite toy car to make room for Teddy in the backpack. How could Caillou ever sleep at Leo's house without his teddy bear? On the way to his friend's house, Caillou talked about Leo the whole time. Leo had something absolutely fantastic, a tree house. His daddy built it. Caillou and Leo played there together often. Sometimes Leo's mummy brought them a snack to eat in the treehouse. Going to Leo's house was always fun. As soon as they arrived, Caillou ran to find Leo, forgetting about Mummy and his stuff in the car. Caillou asked Leo if they could play in the treehouse. Quickly, they climbed the ladder up the tree. At the top, Caillou saw Mummy holding his backpack and overnight bag. Look, Mummy, shouted Caillou. I climbed really high. Good for you, Caillou, said Mummy. You're very brave. I'm not scared at all, said Caillou. I have to go now, Caillou, she called. Have fun, and see you tomorrow. Bye, Mummy, shouted Caillou, waving. Caillou watched his mummy drive away and disappear down the street. Then he went back to playing with his friend and forgot all about Mummy. Caillou and Leo spent the whole afternoon in the treehouse. It was like having their very own house. At supper time, Leo's mummy called them to come and eat. Caillou sat down beside his friend and looked around the table. There was Leo's mummy, his daddy, and his big brother. Everybody started eating except Caillou. He didn't feel hungry. He missed his family. He was thinking about Mummy, Daddy, his sister Rosie, and the yellow plate he always used. Aren't you hungry, Caillou? Leo's mummy asked. Caillou shook his head slowly. Let's see who finishes first and wins the race to dessert. Caillou nodded and started to eat. He felt more like eating now, especially dessert. After supper, there was still time to play. Caillou showed Leo his collection of dinosaurs. He felt better while they played. He didn't miss his family so much. Soon, it was time to go to bed. Time to stop playing, put on his pajamas, and brush his teeth. Leo had bunk beds in his room. Leo's mummy let Caillou choose which bed he wanted to sleep in. Caillou didn't know which one to choose. He looked at the bottom bunk, and then he looked at the top one. He didn't feel very brave. No way would he climb a ladder to sleep in an unfamiliar bed, so he pointed to the bottom bunk. But Caillou would rather go home to his own bed, to his own mummy and daddy. When Leo's mummy turned out the light, Caillou started to cry softly. It was so dark in the bedroom. He couldn't see his friend, and he felt so alone. Big tears rolled down his cheeks. Leo's mummy came to tuck them in and realized that Caillou was crying. What's the matter, Caillou? She asked gently, hugging him. I want my mommy, howled Caillou, crying even harder. I understand, Caillou. You're not used to sleeping away from home. I've got an idea. Why don't we go call your mommy on the phone? Caillou started to feel better already. The idea of calling home. Leo's mommy dialed the number while Caillou held the phone. He could hear the phone ring, then recognized his mummy's voice. Mommy, is that you, Caillou? Mommy, I want to come home, he replied in a small voice. Does Teddy want to come home too? She asked. Teddy, shouted Caillou. Poor Teddy, said Mommy. He must be feeling very lonely stuck inside your backpack. He was really looking forward to sleeping over at Leo's house. When Caillou thought about Teddy, he didn't want to go home anymore. He hung up the phone and went to look for Teddy. Finding his backpack, he stuck his hand inside to the bottom. I found Teddy, he shouted, pulling Teddy out head first. Teddy looked a little crumpled. Caillou hugged Teddy very hard. Then Leo's mummy wiped away the last tears and helped him blow his nose. Caillou was ready to go to sleep. He climbed into bed and settled in. Teddy, warm and cuddly beside him. Caillou gave Teddy a big kiss and tucked him in. And then Caillou promised Teddy he would never forget him ever again.